Good evening, everyone. Welcome, WLA-TV. Glad to have you along here this evening. It's girls basketball season. Good to have you with us and ready, or just about ready, on the hardwood here. A rematch and a matchup that has become a mainstay for WLA to start off the season. Past couple of years, they've played against Kiel. Last couple of years, they've gotten the better of the Kiel Raiders in the opening game of the season. Going back to last season, the Vikings started off their campaign with a 64-51 win on the road over the Raiders. And WLA 18-7 last season, averaging just about 62 points per game. They saw their season come to an end with a 7-point loss at St. Mary's Springs. That was a WIAA regional final. One round later for Kiel, they lost at Brillion and got beat pretty good. 22-point loss, 65-43. That was a sectional semifinal for the Kiel Raiders. They were 21-6 last season, 11-3 in that Eastern Wisconsin Conference that Brillion ended up winning. And they took third behind both Brillion and New Holstein. Vikes also took third behind Springs. As we mentioned, they got swept by Springs last season, and Laconia, which didn't lose many games a season ago, on their way to a state championship loss for the Spartans. Laconia brings back just about everything and will be the runaway favorites in the Flyway Conference. WLA in a cluster of those teams contending for maybe number 2, but that's not to take anything away from WLA. WLA returns their top 4 leading scorers. Kiera Shea averaged nearly 17 points per game, 16.8 points. Lindsay Nell, 14.7. Abby Cole, 14.5. And Suri Kuski, 5.5 points per game for the Vikings. So that's a lot of production, almost 62 points a game, and that's about 50 of it right there. So the Vikes, with what they got coming back, if they can figure out who that number 5 player is for them, should have a really successful season here for the Vikes. Kiel, they're led by Emma Edelman. They were last year. She averaged nearly 17 points per game, did Edelman. 15.8 when everything was all said and done. But they have lost some production in the way of Corin Fromm. So interesting to see how the Raiders look this season. Got some youth, several freshmen, 3 of them to be specific, up on varsity, as well as number 24, Courtney Faust. So she's a sophomore. So 3 freshmen and a sophomore for the Raiders, and a little bit of youth, a lot of new names for the Viking fans. You know, you lose Peyton Chemnitz, you lose Jess Pino, some other players from last season. Shea, Nell, Kuski, Cole, those are the mainstays. Who fills in at number 5? Audrey Schumacher came out for the first time in her high school career. She's a senior, 5'3" senior guard for the Vikings. We'll see how much action she gets tonight. Avery Supernand is back for the Vikings. Evelyn Davies and Anna Trewin are the 2 sophomores up on varsity, and then McKenna Conkey and Leah Tyson are a couple of juniors for the Vikes as well. McKenna Conkey, we expect her to get the start for the Vikes tonight. So 21-6 a season ago for Kiel. WLA 18-7, ready to get their seasons underway. A good defensive team in Kiel and a good defensive program, generally speaking. They averaged 57 points per game, but did a really nice job on the other side of the floor. The Vikings always good defensively, and always good defensively when you can start up top with Kiera Shea. Vikings averaged 13 steals per game, and a lot of that production coming from Kiera Shea. She led the Flyway Conference in steals. She had 99 steals a season ago. That's good for 4 steals per game, which is a very, very high mark if you watch any high school basketball at all. Shea also led the team in assists with 3.5 per game. Rebounding, couple of Vikings rebounders that you want to keep an eye on, Lindsay Nell and Abby Cole. Cole ended up averaging a double-double last season in a very impressive sophomore campaign. That ended with a real spark for Abby Cole. She scored 33 points in that regional final loss at Spring. So, you don't want to see the season come to an end, but Cole certainly did so with a bang last season, and hopefully she can carry that over, speaking from the Vikings' perspective. But Cole averaged 10.3 boards per game, and Lindsay now averaged 8 boards per contest. So should be a good one here tonight. Hope you'll join us. Hope you will stay with us throughout the night. It is hoop season, and we've been waiting for this. Vikings, Raiders next. Stay with us.
Winnebago Lutheran Academy welcomes you to this evening's non-conference basketball game between the Kiel Raiders and the Vikings of Winnebago Lutheran Academy. Winnebago Lutheran Academy, Kiel High School, and the WIAA require good sportsmanship at education-based sporting events. Attendance at interscholastic activities is a privilege with the expectation to exhibit positive and respectful behavior. For the enjoyment and respect of all in attendance, your cooperation in demonstrating the high ideals of sportsmanship is expected and greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please stand, remove your hats, and join us in honoring America and those who protect it with the playing of our national anthem performed by the WLA Pep Band under the direction of Mrs. Abigail Kirk. It's time to meet the starting lineups for this evening's game. First, for the Raiders, a 5'6" freshman, number 5, Tavi Sager. A 6' senior, number 10, Emma Edelman. A 5'8" senior, number 21, Reagan Isselman. A 6' senior, number 23, Allie Meyer. And a 5'10" senior, number 50, Brooklyn Munn. Raiders are coached by Jamie Vandermoose. And here are your WLA Vikings. A 5'9" junior, number 25, McKenna Conkey. A 5'11" junior, number 22, Abby Cole. A 6' junior, number 5, Lindsay Nell. A 5'7" senior, number 10, Siri Kuski. And a 5'4" senior, number 2, Kiara Shea. Vikings are coached by Eric Strashago, assisted by Dan Schwartz, Katie Johnson, and Kristen Schrader.
Well, it's the first game of the season. Give them a break out there. Listening skills, maybe not the number one on the list of skills for the WLA girls basketball team, apparently. Number 25, McKenna Conkey, was announced, and number 2, Kiara Shea, because she's used to being first, went out there, and that's all right. Kiara must have thought she was still a junior. The Vikings fans would take that if Kiara Shea was still a junior, but I don't think that's forthcoming. Starters for the Raiders: Tavi Sager is a freshman. Emma Edelman, the leading scorer, senior. Reagan Isselman is a senior, along with Brooklyn Mance, and then Hallie Meyer, another senior. So 4 seniors and a freshman starting for the Raiders. A lot of experience. And then Tavi Sager, who is first year in the program. Far side, tipped away by Lindsay Nell. That was Edelman, and Nell's going to draw that matchup on Edelman. Here's a tough matchup for Sager. Welcome to varsity basketball, and she gets the matchup with Kiara Shea. An early three, though, Edelman, as Lindsay Nell sunk off of her, and a three-point attempt from the left wing goes down. Here's Abby Cole. Off the dribble, hands off to Kuski. Kuski back here to Nell. Nell, nice down the paint, kicks it out. Kiara Shea, shot fake. Down the lane she goes, up with the right hand, missed it strong. Strong from Shea, first miss for the Vikings. A good look on their first possession. Up ahead, and somehow wrangled in by the Raiders. And here goes Sager. Hands it off. This is Isselman, and Isselman turns it over. McKenna Conkey looked like she might have traveled. Gets it up to Kiara Shea. Shea jump stops, gives it to Cole. Cole up with the right hand and a foul. First foul of the night on number 10, Emma Edelman. And a rampant pace here to start for both of these teams. And the Vikings find themselves down early, but Abby Cole's first trip to the line for the Vikings. First for Cole is missed long, and the Vikings shoot a ton of free throws in practice, but sometimes does not seem like it. Abby Cole goes 1 for 2, and the Vikings have their first point of this 2022-2023 basketball season. Vikes full court press. Man-to-man. You're going to try to trap Edelman. She gives it to Sager. Sager jump stops at the free throw line, not looking to shoot. She was wide open. Backdoor cut. And a jump shot looks off and rebounded on the near side from Cole. Good defensive closeout from Siri Kuski. Cole's going to run the point. Shovel it off to Nell. Nell learned to hit that three late on in the season. Nice backdoor cut from McKenna Conkey. Cross-court pass, and Siri Kuski's got her first bucket of the game and of the season. And the Vikings have this one tied it up. 16:34 to go in the first half. Here is Sager, crosses over once, and trying to look for Edelman as the Raiders will initiate their offense. And this time, Lindsay Nell picks off the pass intended for Meyer. Lindsay Nell's first points of the year. Good start for the Vikings after giving up the early three. They are on a 5-0 run. 16 minutes left in the first half. We know the score is, or the time is covered up on the scoreboard, so we'll give that to you as much as we can here. Vikings switching everything on the screens. Lindsay Nell fights through that one. Vikings want to switch ball screens and fight through screens away from the ball. I think that's kind of the plan offensively. Defensively. Here's Brooklyn Mance, her first points of the night. 5'10" senior down in the post, battling with the Vikings, and that stops a 5-0 run, ties things up at 5. Here's Abby Cole, top of the key, crosses once, now behind the back. Far side, down to the corner with Nell. Nell with the right-handed dribble to the middle of the paint, kicks it out, tried to kick it out, got tipped away. Here's McKenna Conkey, long two, but it was a two, banked in. McKenna Conkey and 4 different Vikings have scored tonight, and the only one who hasn't was their leading scorer a season ago. Kiera Shea hasn't gotten going. Averaged 17 last season. Here is Meyer, shovels it off to Sager. Sager guarded by Kiera Shea. Sager, looked like a double dribble. They're going to say Nell actually hit it out of her hand, so no double. And a nice job crashing down onto the paint for Kiera Shea. Tips it out, and it'll stay with the Raiders underneath. 7-5 with 15:07 to go in the first half. Just getting going here. Abby Cole almost tips that one away. And they're trying to work Meyer underneath. And, banked in Tavi Sager. And that's a good way to get your high school career started. A banked in 3. Give you a little confidence out there, top of the key. Here's McKenna Conkey in the corner, drives baseline. Turns, tries to kick. Cutting, nice ball movement and good movement off the ball by Abby Cole. Cole's got 3. Vikings regain the lead. 9-8 as we go back and forth. Bounce pass here to Sager on the near side. Looks, the game's going to slow down for her as a freshman. That's a foul from Lindsay Nell. Little over anxious there at the half-court line. And a clear bump of Sager. Into the game for the first time is Audrey Schumacher. First time in her career as well. Hasn't played basketball during her high school years, but a tremendous athlete. Great pitcher on the softball field. And tipping it away, looked like it was Cole tipping it away. Steal completed by Shea, and she's fouled. Kiera Shea will head to the free throw line. 14:21 to go in the first half. And a chance to build on a 1-point lead for the Vikings. Last season, Shea was 66% from the line. And first one here is good. It was kind of a conversation. I talked to Coach Schroffnagel. Really enjoy talking hoops with him, but wait for the second one here from Shea. Looks good, and it is. Rainbowed in. It's like Kiera Shea, you couldn't figure it out. I mean, she shot something like 75% in practice and just couldn't translate it to the games, which was interesting. Nice cross-court pass. Well done on the press break for the Raiders, and Matt scores her second bucket of the game. She's got 4 of the 10 for the Raiders. Vikings pressure was good, but not good enough. Here is Lindsay Nell, top of the key, drives on the right side, tips it, not able to save it though, and a turnover back to the Vikings. When Nell just lets the game come to her, she is one of the best players in the Flyway Conference, and just can't press all the time, and just let it come to you. Here's Sager. Crosses once with Shea. Across into the front court. Shea trying to pick her pocket. Now a screen, a little bit of a miscommunication. Sager dribbled it. Might have dribbled it off her toe. In any way, she dribbled it out of bounds. Ball will head back to the Vikings on the turnover. So a couple of turnovers there. Pretty clean game so far, I would say. Normally you see a lot of passes out of bounds, miscommunication. Now the Vikings certainly, you have 4 players that have come back. Here's Audrey Schumacher underneath, misses that one, tipped around. Offensive board, nice fight from Siri Kuski, but she loses it underneath. Great job by Isselman to get her hands in there and pry it loose from Siri Kuski. Chance early on there for Schumacher to get her first points of her career. And that's a loose pass from Sager. Chance here for the Vikings to really apply some pressure. Edelman, long 3, good. Emma Edelman, her second 3 of the night. She's 2 for 2. And Kiel retakes the lead 13-11. Man, that was one of those when she lets it go. It's like, ooh, I don't know about that shot. Well, I know about it now. Lob down underneath from Shea to Lindsay Nell, and Nell's got her second bucket. And it's tied back up here at 13. Nice offensive start for both of these teams. We're at 12:44 in the first half. And both of them have got things they want to get. Here's Sager. Crosses once with Shea. Across into the front court. Shea trying to pick her pocket. Now a screen, a little bit of a miscommunication. Sager dribbled it. Might have dribbled it off her toe. In any way, she dribbled it out of bounds. Ball will head back to the Vikings on the turnover. So a couple of turnovers there. Pretty clean game so far, I would say. Normally you see a lot of passes out of bounds, miscommunication. Now the Vikings certainly, you have 4 players that have come back. Here's Audrey Schumacher underneath, misses that one, tipped around. Offensive board, nice fight from Siri Kuski, but she loses it underneath. Great job by Isselman to get her hands in there and pry it loose from Siri Kuski. Chance early on there for Schumacher to get her first points of her career. And that's a loose pass from Sager. Chance here for the Vikings to really apply some pressure. Edelman, long underneath. Here's another triple opportunity. This one misses. Good box, Abby Cole. Cole looks up ahead, finds Nell. Nell on the left side, crosses Edelman over. Down the lane she goes, up with the right hand on the left side, misses. Edelman, nice rebound, trailing down for Kiel. Up ahead, she gets it to Meyer. Meyer drives the lane, gets it to Mance across the court, and Abby Cole whistled for a foul on the floor. Well, if that's going to be a foul, I don't really know how that could have been on the floor, but it was. Vikings will take that, certainly. First personal for Abby Cole, second team. A couple of team fouls for either team. Avery Supernan back into the ballgame, as is Evelyn Davies back in, but that's her first time into the ballgame. Vikings very small lineup here with Abby Cole going out of the ballgame. They get it into Mance, and that is a tough matchup for Evelyn Davies. She does a nice job straight up and down, and boxes for the Vikings. Nice defensive possession for the sophomore Evelyn Davies. Crossing over, it goes Shea down the lane, and she's fouled. She'll head to the free throw line for a couple of more free throws. She's 2 for 2 there tonight. Vikings 3 for 4 as a team from the line. And I'll tell you what, 5'10" Brooklyn Mance up again 5'7" Evelyn Davies, and that's might be a generous 5'7" for Evelyn. And she stood tough. 3 for 3 start for the line from Kira Shea. Vikings retake the lead here. Largest lead for them was 3 points. And Shea goes 2 for 2 from the line. Into the ball game for Kiel is Natalie Long, the first substitution made from Coach Vandermeuse. And Long is 6'2", aptly named. Natalie Long. Long arms, long legs. Here on the near side is Meyer. Meyer shovels it off to Iselman. Mance checks, flashes near. This is Long. Long looks far side, skip pass into Meyer, now into Edelman. Edelman at the high post, back out, kicks it. This is Meyer, and that was well short. Didn't hit anything, and it'll go back over to the Vikings. 15-13, Vikes lead it. 11:45 to go first half. Lindsay Nell will bounce for Shea. And some much-needed, kind of a luxury here for Coach Strafnagel. And I know early on in the season he wants to see what he's got facing live bullets with some of these players. Who's going to grasp that 5 spot in the starting lineup? That's missed a little bit off to the right from Lindsay Nell, and Mance, nice job rebounding. But also a nice opportunity to get Cole some minutes early on the bench here, and Siri Kuski as well. Nice little turnaround jumper there. Natalie Long into the ball game, and she wastes very little time getting on the score sheet. First 2 points for her, and we're tied back up. That was a sweet-looking jump shot. Fade away. Down the lane goes Kiera Shea. Good luck stopping that. She's got 6. Her first bucket from the field. And Kiera Shea already impacting this game in a big way. This is Meyer down the lane. Bounce pass to Mance, and that is another great play by Kiel. Brooklyn with 6 points for the Raiders. And we're tied back up. And this is, if you look at, you want to be picky about the Vikings a season ago. Nell gets it underneath and spins once, kicks it to Shea in the corner. Shot fake there. And a touch here for Audrey Schumacher. Another chance for Nell. Nell with a step back, thought about the 3, instead goes to Shea. Supernan down to Davies. Davies in the corner, bounce to Supernan. Nice roll off the screen, and Avery was fouled on the floor. She tried to step through with a bounce pass to Audrey Schumacher. And here come the starters plus Anna Trewin. Anna Trewin, another one of the sophomores for the Vikings. And they will replace Nell, Shea, and Schumacher. So a couple of starters still on the floor for the Vikings, but Coach Strafnagel going very deep early on here. This is 9 players deep. Nice positioning, Abby Cole. You betcha. Abby has 5 points, and the Vikings retake the 2-point lead. Nice job early on here from both these teams, getting into sets they certainly want to get a part of. And the Vikings trying to kind of a run and jump here. I'll tell you what, they are trying to trap with the first player off the ball, which is kind of interesting. Should be the second one on Cole there. Yeah, that's a big whistle there as Abby has to retake a seat. 10:08 to go in the first half, and she was barely in for a minute there. And much like the other side, Avery Supernan, what a defensive possession for her. Evelyn Davies is caught in the corner, and I'll tell you what, nice defensive recovery from Evelyn. And a great play by Long, but couldn't finish it. Here's Avery Supernan in the corner, drives it, kicks it out. Evelyn Davies, 3 ball on the way. Looks like it could bank in, a little bit short of banking, and it'll go out of bounds. Look good. Nice looking jump shot from Evelyn Davies. And that's a learning experience there in the corner. And I'm sure in a big conference game, maybe Coach Schaffnagel uses an early timeout there with 9:46 to go in the first half. Maybe protects Evelyn Davies a little bit. But I want to see, maybe you see how kids respond. Supernan almost in the passing lane. Here goes long down the lane. Kicks it to the corner. This is Iselman. Misses it. Strong. Good rebound from Lindsay Nell. As I said, averaged 8 of those a season ago. Nice bounce pass to Siri Kuski. Kuski missed it strong. Tipped around. Couldn't tell who that was underneath. Anna Trewin maybe. Here's another three, this time short from Evelyn Davies. Tipped around by Anna Trewin. She's won 2 more possessions for the Vikings on this specific possession. Crossing over Lindsay Nell. So good. Oh, it won't fall for her. And it's still 19-17. Vikings getting good looks. Can't finish right now. Tell you what, especially with this lineup on the floor, but even with the starters, it is a big, big difference in length and height. Lindsay Nell able to get into a passing lane. She's got a couple of steals already tonight, and she's got 6 points. Vikes lead it by 4, largest lead of the ball game for them. There is a big difference, though, in the length and the height of both of these teams. Kiel much bigger, much longer. They didn't want to switch that one. In fact, they did switch it. And Mance underneath. Oh, careful, Lindsay Nell. 8 points here early on for Brooklyn Mance and the Vikings. As I was going to say before, if you're going to be hypercritical about last season, it was against good interior players that the Vikings maybe struggled. Here's Lindsay Nell. Oh, straight away 3. Lindsay Nell, her first one of the campaign, and she's got 9. 24-19, 5-point lead for the Vikings. 3 ball on the way from Edelman. Missed it long. Good rebound from Nell. Crosses long over. Nell into the front court. Bounces down to Supernan. She's got a long 2 on the way. Looks deep. Offensive rebound. Another one from Anna Trewin. Finds Evelyn Davies. Long 2 for her. Offensive rebound, Anna Trewin. She's hacked and will head to the line. Anna Trewin probably only credited with 2 offensive rebounds to this point in the ball game, but she has earned 4 different possessions for the Vikings with her play on the offensive glass. Kira Shea ready to check in for the Vikings at the table along with McKenna Conkey. This one misses from Anna Trewin, still looking for her first varsity points. Jaden Spencer enters the game for Kiel as Coach Vandermeuse has only gone 7 deep. Coach Schaffnagel, to my count, has gone 9 deep. And Anna Trewin, maybe even 10. I'll have to count again. Here's a 30-second timeout from Kiel and Coach Vandermeuse. Vikings have had 6 different scorers. And 9 deep for the Vikings so far. They only have 10 players on their roster. The only one who hasn't gotten in yet is Leah Tyson. So Coach Schaffnagel trying to figure out early and often here what he's got with some of these inexperienced younger players, and throwing them into the fire here early on against a very good Kiel Raider team, or at least what we expect to be a good Kiel Raider team. 25-19, 6-point lead for the Vikings is their largest of the game. 7:52 to go in the first half. We'll get that huddle camera situation figured out. We'll with the hoops up and when they were aiming the camera to get the scoreboard, they shot the wrong backboard, and with the hoops down, you can't see it. So we'll get that sorted out here before long. Might be a game or 2, but shouldn't be a huge issue. At least we got the huddle camera working this year. How about that? And a foul here on Anna Trewin. Little ticky-tack there. But the 4th team foul for the Vikes was on Trewin. And Coach Schwartz, who is the defensive specialist for the Vikings, really emphasizing just get your hands out to the side there. No need to foul. Don't get these cheap ticky-tack poke-in fouls here. Edelman cuts to the basket. Instead, it goes to Iselman, who gets it back to Long. Natalie Long has handled the ball here as a travel, that time from Meyer. Yeah, I'll tell you, Natalie Long, a 6'2 junior, and has done a lot of the ball handling since she's come in. You're a 6'2 point guard, you are going to create issues for opposition this year, I'll tell you that much. Very fun to watch thus far, number 34. Kiel, yeah, they're in a man. It looked like a matchup zone there for a second, but it's man. Down the lane goes Siri Kuski. Oh, what a move. Siri Kuski's got 4 for the Vikings, and the Vikes continue to take control here in this first half with 7 minutes remaining. They lead by 8. This time it's Meyer into the front court, guarded by Nell. Nell with 1 foul. On the bench, Abby Cole with a pair of fouls. Here's Edelman, hounded by Siri Kuski. Kuski, the second best defender, I think you would, if you asked the coaching staff on this team, Kira Shea is one of the best defenders in the state. You can't convince me otherwise. Nice play by Anna Trewin, and she's punished for good hustle as she's whistled for the foul. 5th team foul for the Vikings, 2nd on Anna Trewin. She just poked that away. Nice play by Anna Trewin. But officials thought otherwise, so Coach Schroffnagel going to leave Anna in there, and he turns to Abby Cole right there, and I think just a reminder, you got to, nothing unnecessary here in the first half that would limit your play in the second half. Steal for the Vikings. Here goes Siri Kuski down the lane, up with the right hand, you bet. Siri Kuski has 6 points. And the Vikings have the first double-digit lead, and stepping over the line was Meyer. And it'll go back to the Vikings. Abby Cole into the ball game. She's going to check in for Trewin, so Abby's got to be careful here with the couple of fouls that she has. 6 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first half. Kuski will check it in, gets it into Nell. Nell fights for it underneath. The possession arrow stays with the Vikings. Good hustle there by, well, it was both Long and Reagan Iselman who clamped down. Nice job on Lindsay Nell. Going to screen the screener here. Nell pops open on the short corner, drives to the middle of the paint. Offensive rebound, Abby Cole. Cole fighting for it. And a foul. I think they're going to whistle this one on Kiel. It should be the Viking ball underneath. That's right. They say someone, number 21, Iselman, got Cole on the hand. Here's Shea popping open for 3, and nice defense by Long to get in front of Kiera Shea. Takes some doing to get in front of Kiera Shea as quick as she is. Nice defensive rebound by Meyer on the far side. Oh, a little bit of an ill-advised pass stolen by Abby Cole, and now it's Mance stealing it back from Lindsay Nell. A little bit carelessness with the ball for the Vikings. Natalie Long hits a long jumper. Long 2-pointer. And she's got 4. 29-21. Vikings still in control for the time being. Handoff to Kuski here. Kuski drives the lane up with the right hand. No, it's a jump ball. Goes back to the Raiders. Nice defense. Think it was Meyer maybe getting her hands on that and tying it up as Siri Kuski went into the lane, trying to go up to the basket. Here's Edelman. She's been quiet. Hit a couple of threes early, but she's stuck on that 6-point mark, and Siri Kuski is a big reason for that. Here's Mance. Couple of screens. Mance drives the lane. Oh, that's way too easy. She's got 10. First player into double figures, from either team is Brooklyn Mance, and 4-0 run for the Raiders, to get this back to a 6-point game. Here's Kuski, looks far side. That's Shea in the corner. Cutting is McKenna Conkey. Conkey trapped in the corner, kicks it back out to Shea. Shea skip pass to Lindsay Nell. She's hit 1-3, missed 1-3, and she's done that a couple of times too. And Arrow will keep it with the Vikings, but she had that poked away as she starts to dribble towards the basket. Substitution is Tavi Sager, pardon me. Apologies. 6-point lead for the Vikings as the freshman back into the ballgame for Kiel. Oh, and she quickly gets her hands on a pass. And kind of slows it down for the Raiders. Good screen by Edelman. And a good spin from Sager. Block from Lindsay Nell. Goes straight. Oh, that was a walk. Yeah, they got it too. Number 23, Hallie Meyer, dragged the pivot foot before she got rid of it. And that was a great job by the Vikings to recover defensively. I'll tell you what, if you're a Raider fan, maybe you'd like to see Sager just be a little more confident with herself. She's gotten into terrific ball handler, good defender, and she's gotten into some good positions offensively and just hasn't shot the ball. Offensive rebound for Abby Cole on the miss from Lindsay Nell. Shot fake from Shea. Head fake And now gives it to Conkey. Back to Shea in the corner. Vikings swinging it. Top of the key. Down to Kuski in the corner. Uses a Lindsey Nell screen. And bounce pass. Nice backdoor cut by by Kira Shea. Found by Siri Kuski. And Shea can't finish. That was her issue early on in the season a season ago. Down the lane goes Meyer. Shovels it back out to Edelman. Back to Meyer in the corner. This is a three-point attempt. It's good. First points of the night for Hallie Meyer. And it's a 7-0 run for Kiel to cut it to 3. Vikings led it 29-19. And this run gets Kiel right back into it with 3:44 to go in the first half. Vikings look stagnant offensively the last couple of possessions. Here's Kuski. Kuski crosses. Now gives it to Nell. Skip pass over to Kiera Shea. That's a travel. Yep, Kiera puts that one in. But much after the travel. Davies, Supernand, and Schumacher back in for the Vikings, replacing Nell, Conkey, and Kuski. Well, Coach Schroffnagel's gotten 3 minutes out of Abby Cole here. I wonder if he takes her back off the floor with the 2 fouls or if he just leaves her for this last 3.5 minutes. Be interesting to see. They go straight back to Mance. Big for for Cole to stay straight up. She did. Edelman almost hit her third 3. Abby Cole skies for the rebound and takes it on the far side. Crosses over once, a little bit out of control. Has it poked away. Here's Schumacher. Schumacher from the post, or from the high post, pardon me. And a good rebound from Mance. I think would have been better for the Vikings, maybe set up something offensively there, but got an opening and took the shot. I don't think Coach Schroffnagel ever punishes or criticizes that. Here's Edelman trying another one. Hit it. Tied ball game. 10-0 run. Edelman's got 9, and we're tied back up at 29. Nice response here. Coach Schroffnagel wants a timeout. We'll see if they give it to him. They do. Disappointing run for stretch of a period for the Vikings. But, you know, you have a bad stretch like that and you're still tied. Sometimes got to look at the positives, the optimistic view. 29-29, they take a timeout. We'll take it with them back with more after this. Stay with us. Back here out of the timeout. 10-0 run for Kiel. Vikings have the basketball. When WLA gets out into transition, that's how Coach Schroffnagel and his staff want to play. Get force turnovers, get out into transition. But and a travel here out top of the key. Another turnover for the Vikings. They've had real tough time in the half-court sets, especially recently with taking care of the basketball. We'll see if they can get into some passing lanes again. No issues with the team fouls. Only got 5. Abby Cole obviously has to be very, very careful out there. Sager is being hounded by Kiera Shea. Schumacher stays with Meyer. Now Edelman, who's got 9. Shovels it off to Sager. Sager has a 3. She banked it in early. Here's Meyer working on Schumacher. Bounce pass down to Mance. Working on Cole, bounces it into Sager. Sager with a couple of big steps. Thought that was a travel. No whistle coming. Audrey Schumacher on the board. Gets it into the front court, spins, hands off to Cole. Abby Cole's first 3-point attempt of the season. Rattles around and out somehow. Audrey Schumacher with the offensive rebound. Here's Kiera Shea's first 3. This misses as well. Offensive rebound, Abby Cole. Oh, Cole up with it. Yes, you bet. Abby's got 7. And the Vikings have retaken the lead. That ends a 10-0 Kiel Raider run. And if you're a Viking fan, you want me to shut up about that, but it's an important part of this first half. Vikes looked in control. Here's Edelman, fires up another one in there. Oh, my. How do you call that from the opposite side of the floor? They're going to get Kiera Shea. And, I mean, you're just blowing a whistle because you want to blow a whistle at that point. That's all I'll say about that. We'll move on, and I will be quiet. But you can't be from the far side of the court and call that one. But you had two guys closer. Edelman, and you send a really good shooter to the line. And, well, Coach Strafnagel, I don't know if you liked the explanation or not, but he got one. At least you can say that. 1 for 2 on the first two for Edelman, who is into double figures. A couple of much more balanced approach for the Vikings. Kiel has 4 players, check that, 5 players who have scored. And both Mance and Edelman have double figures. It's tied up. 2 of the 3 go down for Edelman. That was the first foul on Kiera Shea. That's always something you got to keep an eye on if you're a Viking fan. Kiera Shea, the Vikings really struggle when she's neutralized by the officials if they want to call a ticky-tack game. She oftentimes finds herself sitting on the bench. Speaking of ticky-tack, there's a foul on Natalie Long. And it sends Kiera Shea to the free throw line. That was very light contact. First, check that second foul on Long. So that's a tough one for the Raiders, and Jaden Spencer will come in for her. I'll tell you what, Natalie Long coming off the bench, huge spark for the Raiders. Very good minutes from her in this first half. 1-and-1 bonus. And Kiera Shea stays perfect from the free throw line. She's 5 for 5. 32-31, Vikes retake the lead. Plenty of lead changes, several ties here in this first half. Biggest lead was the Vikings' 10-point lead, and it took 6 free throws for Kiera Shea to miss her first one. She's 5 for 6. Vikings have a 1-point lead. 1 minute and 5 seconds left here in this first half. Edelman dribbles it off of her knee, and over and back. They're going to say Kiera Shea did not touch it. And it's over and back, goes back to the Vikings. I think that was the question from Coach Vandermeuse was, we sure that wasn't tipped? Shea, top of the key, Kuski. Far side, that's Davies. Davies tries to force a pass into Siri Kuski, and nice play by Mance to keep control of the ball. And they're going to whistle a foul on Lindsay Nell. This is the second on Lindsay Nell, so the fouls, starting to pile up. And now both Cole and Nell have 2 fouls. And Lindsay's going to take a seat for the last 4. No. Thought Abby Cole might have been coming in for Lindsay Nell. Coach Strafnagel wants the starters minus Conkey plus Trewen here to finish out this first half. 44 seconds left. Front end of the 1-and-1 is good for Edelman. She's 3 for 4 from the charity stripe. And charity is a good word for it after that first foul call. Second free throw from Edelman is good. She's got a pure stroke, and she has 13 points already for the Raiders. 3 threes and 4 free throws. Down the lane goes Abby Cole, kicks it out. There's Siri Kuski, long 2, hit it. Nice jumper, Siri Kuski. You love to see that from Siri Kuski early on in the season. She averaged about a dozen points per game early on through non-conference, and then it was very steadily her role grew less and less and needed offense. I didn't say that very well. Her role on offense was needed less and less down the season. Down the lane goes Kiera Shea. She's fouled. Thought it might have been an and-1 opportunity, but it rolled off the front edge of the rim. 5.8 seconds left. Here come McKenna Conkey and Avery Supernan. I would expect this to be for Cole and Nell, just to get the 2 players with 2 fouls off the floor on the last defensive possession. First free throw rattles home. Nice shooter's touch there from Kiera Shea. She is 6 for 7 from the line now and has 8 points. Second foul, by the way, for Brooklyn Mats. So a couple of Raiders with 2 fouls as well. Second free throw is good for Kiera Shea as well. So as I mentioned, Nell and Cole leave the floor, and that's a double dribble. Oh, that's a double dribble. This can't go. No good from Edelman, and that would have been another fortuitous bounce for Kiel. But it rattles a little bit short, and it's 36-33 on the halftime scoreboard. We'll add up some stats here at halftime, come back and talk a little bit more about that. Vikings led by as many as 10, but a good fight from the Kiel Raiders down the stretch there in that first half to cut it back, at one point tie things up, and even took a late first half lead there, did the Raiders. 36-33. We'll send it to halftime, come back in just a second with a little bit more. Jordan King with you. Glad to have you along. You're listening and watching WLA Girls Basketball on WLA TV. Stay with us. We'll get you our halftime update here real quick, then give you a chance to go grab some popcorn or whatever you got to grab and get ready, get right back here for the second half of play. 36-33, the Vikings lead the Raiders. A couple of teams that lost some, bring back some lost some. Obviously, Kiel lost a little bit more than the Vikings did in terms of production, but both these teams return for the Raiders to return their top scorer in Edelman, and she has looked the part tonight. And the Vikings return their top 4 scorers, and quite frankly, all of them have looked the part. 13 points for Emma Edelman. She is the game-high scorer for either team. She's got 13 points. 10 points for Brooklyn Mance. 4 points for Natalie Long off the bench. Hallie Meyer hit a 3, as did Tavi Sager, who hit a triple. 5 threes in that first half for Kiel. You would, if you're a Viking fan, you're making the argument, man, if those stop falling for Kiel, they may be in trouble. But if they keep falling, conversely, then you feel pretty good about where they're at. So 5 threes in that first half for the Raiders. Scoring for the Vikings, Anna Trewin hit 1 of 2 free throws. 2 points for McKenna Conkey on a nice cut. And then the big 4 for the Vikings. 7 for Abby Cole, 8 for Siri Kuski, and 9 apiece for both Kiera Shea and Lindsay Nell. Kiera only had 1 bucket from the floor, but she went 7 for 8 from the free throw line. She was 7 for 8, and then Cole and Trewin were both 1 for 2. So 9 for 12 from the free throw line for the Vikings, just to the 4 of 5 tally for the Raiders. So certainly there is a difference in three-point shooting for the Raiders and a difference in who's gone to the line more, and that favors the Vikings. That's kind of the story here thus far. So 36-33, it just feels like hoop season, doesn't it? We get our first significant snowfall of the year, and wouldn't you believe it, it's on opening day of hoops season. Glad to have you along. Hope you'll stay with us for the second half. 36-33. We got a good one brewing between the Vikings and the Raiders. Stay with us. Back here, WLA, campus of WLA. Glad to have you along. Jordan King with you, WLA TV, your home for all WLA sporting events. Let's give you a look next couple of weeks up through Thanksgiving. Vikings play tonight here against Kiel, then head up to Manitowoc, Roncalli. Not sure what the Jets got going on this year, but that has been a mainstay on the Vikings schedule for the past couple of years as well. Roncalli. Monday, Vikings have seemingly always played Luther Prep, and that's a Monday trip for the Vikings girls team. Boys don't play them till late in the season. That's a late season matchup for the Vikings with the Phoenix. And then next Tuesday, the boys get going. It is the first game for Coach Nell and his crew. What do they look like without Ethan Cole? What do they look like without Aiden Barr? A lot of production there. Aiden, always smart, put the ball on his hip, got the Vikings into the sets. Ethan, well, when you're the career leading scorer and rebounder, that speaks for itself. And we'll see what the Vikings look like this year. They still return a lot. Noah Gensler, Sam Lair, Chop Simmons is back. Wiedmeyer, Walta, all sorts of talent. So we'll see what it looks like, but they're going to have to figure out when things get tough, you can't lean on those two vets this season. You look around, they ain't going to be there. So where do they go? I'm looking forward to the season that's coming up for Coach Nell and his crew because it doesn't matter. My goodness, they've churned out some conference challenging teams out of when no one thought it was going to be there. So be interesting. 36-33, ready to start the second half here. And Vikings going to use the same starting five as they did to start the ball game, and they're going to have the same defensive assignments. So Emma Edelman will be followed around by Siri Kuski. Again, they're going to switch screens and maybe try to get Edelman on a different matchup. But Kuski's done a nice job despite Edelman having a game-high 13 points. That was tipped. Nice defense by Lindsay Nell on the three-point attempt from Meyer. Rebound taken down by Kiera Shea. Here's Kuski on the near side. Shuffles it to Conkey. McKenna Conkey in the corner bounces it out to Shea. Shea skip pass to Nell. Cutting through is Conkey. Instead, it's Kuski in the corner. Here's Cole. Conkey. Cole screens for her and then rolls straight to the bucket. She's got her if she wants it. And fans thought it might have been a travel. It was not, but Conkey was short on the shot, and it was Meyer down with the rebound. She shovels to Sager and over and back. Reagan Sager. It's kind of hard to see when you are on that big WLA Viking head logo, but she stepped across, then stepped back. 36-33, 17:06 to go here in the ball game. Just starting the second half. First team's couple of empty possessions for Kiel and an empty possession for the Vikings thus far. Here's Conkey. Drives to the baseline. Pivots, top of the key. Nice ball fake from Abby Cole. Down the lane she goes through some contact. Misses it and can't get her own offensive rebound. Nice board from Brooklyn Mance. She's dominated the defensive glass for the Raiders. Crossing over into the front court is Sager. And she's hounded as she was in the first half by Kiera Shea. You don't get a possession off against Kiera Shea. Here's Iselman. Far side Meyer. Good flash from Mance, but they missed her. Edelman has that poked away by Siri Kuski. Crossing it over, up the floor, Lindsay Nell, right side. Yes. Lindsay Nell is the first Viking into double figures. She has 11. Viking lead is 5. First bucket of the second half goes to WLA, and it extends their lead. Here's Sager. Lobs it over to Iselman. Works off of a screen from Mance. Miscommunication. Into the passing lane goes Nell. Nell down the right side of the floor, up with the right hand, you bet. Lindsay Nell with no pressure on her. She's got 13. Tied with Edelman for a game high. This is Meyer now bringing the ball up the floor. Trap there. Or I think Shea thought it was going to be a trap. It was not. Nell went with Sager, and a good decision by Lindsay. And a nice finish underneath by Tavi Sager, the freshman. Has 5 points, and the first points for Kiel in the second half. Cuts it back to a 5-point game. 15:35 to go in the ball game. Here is Conkey. Dribbles back to the top of the key, shovels it off to Abby Cole. Thought about the triple. Now gives it to Nell. And a pass from big to big. Cole able to corral it. Cross-court pass to Kuski. Goes up strong. Nice finish, Siri Kuski. Good job by Kiel to go straight up. Siri Kuski just made a better play. She's the second Viking into double figures with 10. Shea guards Sager. Sager crosses once, doing a nice job to use that offhand to protect the ball. Here's Edelman, hounded by Kuski. She's going to fight through the screen. Edelman kicks it to the corner. Meyer, triple, option. Oh, missed it. Looked good. Just off. Nice bounce pass up ahead from Shea to Kuski. Kuski can't finish. And another good rebound underneath by Mance. Viking students thought maybe there was a loose elbow there. I disagree. Just a good, strong rebound from number 50 from Kiel. And Shea pokes it away from Sager. Fight for the basketball. That's 10, though. And they'll say Shea never actually gained possession. I agree with that. Good call. And a 10-second. And Coach Strafnagel wants to take a timeout. He's going to take a full one. We'll take it with him. Vikings start this second half on a nice run, kind of allaying some of the fear or some of the nervousness that maybe there was in the first half. Pardon me, but I apologize for not starting the camera audio. But we'll get that going. Obviously, we cut that off during timeouts and such just to make sure that we don't get ripped down from YouTube with the copyright infringement. So 14:31, we're back with more right after this. Stay with us. Coming out of the timeout, Jordan King with you. Glad to have you along here. WLA TV, your home for all Viking athletics. It's not a late season conference atmosphere. We'll say that. Feels like the first game of the season. Everyone's getting warmed up. The student section's still not quite in full throat yet. Here's Shea, looks to the far side, in the near side, into the game is Anna Trewin for the Vikings, sophomore. Trewin flashed. I don't think she was looking for the ball. I think Shea would have found her if she was. She's got it now in the corner. Bounces it to Shea. Shot fake. Down the lane she goes, up with the floater. Comes up short and tipped around by the Raiders and ends up with Sager. Sager running it. And there's Shea with the chase down and a travel. Nice play by Kiera Shea. How many times have we seen that if you're a Viking fan? Oh, so many. Where the opposing guard thinks they have a direct route to the basket, and there is Kiera Shea chasing it down from behind and tapping it out of bounds. It still ends up, here's a Cole three, by the way. This misses short. Offensive rebound, Anna Trewin kicks it out. Shea tries a three. This misses off. And fighting for the offensive board is Abby Cole up through the contact. No. Can't get it to go, but she'll head to the free throw line. But just that hustle play from Kiera Shea is just so important from a momentum standpoint. At least it certainly feels like it. I don't know what it feels like out on the court. That's well short from Abby Cole. She missed the front end of her first trip to the free throw line as well, so she's 1 for 3 at this point. And second free throw, that one was much better but missed. Edelman with a good strong rebound just ahead of Lindsay Nell into the front court with Sager. And she sees the familiar, all too familiar face, I'm sure, of Kiera Shea. Switch there. Lindsay Nell back into the passing lane as Edelman just had to kind of shovel it. And a little bit out of control there from Lindsay Nell. And oh, what a play. Blocking Kiera Shea, couldn't get the number there. I think it was Iselman. Yeah, she was. Offensive rebound from Abby Cole. And Cole's first points of the second half have her up with 9. And here is Sager switching with Shea. Now it's Nell guarding Sager, and down the lane she goes. I think she might have picked up the pivot foot there, but it was a terrific move. Good no call there. Just a good move to the hoop by Sager, and the lead for the Vikings is 7, 44-37, 12:50 to go here in the ball game. Pass from Trewin inside to Cole. Nice job to use the pivot foot up with the left hand. And Abby Cole's got 11 points. She's the third Viking into double figures. And Vikings just kind of inching away, keeping Kiel at arm's length and just slowly increasing that lead. Edelman looks top of the key. That's Meyer. Far side Iselman down to the post. First touch in the post for Mance of the second half, and she pays it off. She has been terrific on that left side block, and she's got a dozen points. And Kiel just got to remember to keep going to her. Here goes Cole. She's on a little bit of a tear. Kicks it out. Left wing three on the way. That misses. Offensive rebound tracked down from Siri Kuski. Kuski drives into the middle of the paint. Up with the right hand. Can't get it to go. Offensive rebound. Iselman fouls her. Thought she might have got the block, but they'll say she got too much arm in the first trip to the line of the season for Siri Kuski. Vikings have done a nice job on the offensive glass all night. And Kuski trying to pay it off with some points here. And first one is flat and really had no chance from Siri. She has 10 points. Vikings lead it by 7. Kira Shea gets a round of applause, as does Iselman. That was her third, so she'll have to leave the floor. Reagan Iselman, one of the seniors. That rattles around and out. I think it was last touched by Kiel. No, they're going to say that Abby Cole got position. Referee gave himself time to think about it. I like that. You know, blow the whistle. You don't got to make that hasty call. Think about what you just saw. Make the correct call. I think that was a good one. 11:54 to go. Not that you guys are any interested in my, philosophy on reffing. But anyways, Natalie Long checked back into the game, by the way, and she has been very, very good. Edelman has this one poked away by Lindsay Nell on the right side. Nice hustle by Kiel to disrupt that. Offensive rebound from Abby Cole up with the left hand, and good. Abby Cole can finish with both hands, and big brother Ethan Cole was tremendous at that. I will always say that was probably the most impressive thing about Ethan Cole. It did not matter left hand or right hand. He was left-handed. Here's Lindsay Nell down the court, and we're going to get a timeout here full for Kiel as the Vikings have their biggest lead of the night. Quick 4-0 run after back-to-back hoops. 11-point lead for the Vikings, 50-39 with 11:18 to go. I'm going to finish that thought, and then we'll take a break. But I'll tell you what, it was incredible how Ethan Cole could go through contact and finish with both hands. And I think Abby's got a lot of that kind of ambidextrousness. Is that a word? Ambidextrousness around the hoop. She's just very savvy with how she can finish with both hands around the rim through contact. A very complete basketball player, I think, is probably the biggest compliment you can give her. Vikings lead by 11. Take a quick break. Come back after this. Stay with us. During that timeout, Kira Shea back to the scorer's table. She's right back in for the Vikings. And Coach Schroffnagel has trusted and left his starters out there for a longer period of time here in this half. Siri Kuski's going to get a few minutes on the bench here. So 2 juniors, 2 sophomores, and a senior out there for the Vikings. Evelyn Davies, I think the coaching staff really likes what they have in her. As a sophomore guard, defensively just, it'd be put a lot of pressure on her to say, crown her as the next Kira Shea. But I'll tell you what, she plays defense like a bulldog, and I think that's kind of how you would define Kira Shea as well. Here's Edelman getting free from Shea. Top of the key 3, missed, a little bit short. And the rebound is long down to Shea. Poked around, ends up with Nell. Long bounce pass. That is a tough pass to make. A little shake of the head there from Coach Schroffnagel. I think he loved the idea. It's just a really, really tough pass to make there. That's poked away from Edelman as Shea, and a kick from Edelman gives the ball back to the Vikings. I think Shea was saying, hey, I was just about to score my 10th and 11th point down there. But the Vikings will get possession here, 50-39, 10:40 remaining in the game. And Shea hands off to Nell, top of the key. Gets it poked away. It should stay with the Vikings. And it will. Good defensive, again, Long there with long arms. Tremendous length, really affecting that play. She's guarding Kiera Shea. Good luck getting a shot off there for Kiera. And again, it looks very matchup zony. I don't know what Kiel's running here. Down the lane goes Shea. She heads back to the free throw line. This will be free throw attempts 9 and 10 for Kiera. And a season ago was made 2 of every 3, 66% or thereabouts for Kiera Shea as Avery Supernand checks to the scorer's table and ready to come back in for her first second half action. That one misses from Kiera. But even if she misses this, it's 7 of her first 10. You know, she's got 7 of her first 9, so chance to start the season at an 80% clip if this one goes down. Looks good, and it rattles through for Kiera Shea. And Shea's now got double figures as well. She's sitting at 10. So 4 Vikings into double figures. Nell, Kuski, Cole, and Shea, the big 4, as it were. Here's Edelman crossing over, gives it near side. This is Sager. Down the paint, nice flashing cut there from Mance. Can't get it to go. Good defensive hustle by Abby Cole. Poked away by Long. Another good hustle play by the junior. Natalie Long making a lot of impact plays. That time it was poking it away from the Vikings, Evelyn Davies. Davies now guarding Sager. Down the lane goes Sager. Into Avery Supernand, and count the basket. And the foul. Tavi Sager is really, maybe she's listening to the broadcast. She's been a little bit more aggressive here as of late. She's all the way up to 9 points. That was her 3rd field goal. She hit a 3 early on, banked it in. 51-41. Lindsay Nell takes a seat as Siri Kuski comes back in. And that one misses. First free throw attempt from someone not named Emma Edelman misses for the Raiders. Here, top of the key, bringing the ball up is Abby Cole. Looking to the near side, Avery Supernand working on the dribble. Looks to Davies, gives it to Cole. Shot fake there. Cole has the screen if she wants it, uses it. Now going to trigger up the 3. That one misses. Tipped out by Edelman, stays here with the Vikings. Good box out from Evelyn Davies. Again, giving up quite a bit of height there. You know, Davies a generous 5'7". Emma Edelman 6 foot. 5 inches separating those two. Kuski looking for Cole. Instead has to lob it out to Supernand. Finds Davies. Davies just about turned and threw that to nobody. Siri Kuski was making a cut. And here's Shea to steady things for the Vikings. Supernand, shot fake. Dribbles with the right hand. Pivots once, pivots twice. Here is Cole once again. Abby has it tipped away. She thought Avery was going to go get it. No one went and got it. And then Avery Supernand, I think, picked up the foul going the other way as Sager was able to draw it. Second team foul on the Vikings. And the second. Ooh, they called that on Cole. I think they might have got the wrong number there. I thought that was on Supernand. But they got Cole pulling someone back, I believe. So the third on Abby Cole. I was going to say that was the second foul in 2 possessions from Avery Supernand. Be interesting. I think it'll just going to take Avery maybe a few weeks to get back into basketball. You know, it's like riding a bike, right? And Avery, she was tremendous her freshman year up on the JV1. They thought it was a travel Coach Schroffnagel did. And they're going to get I think he wanted an offensive foul. They get a defensive foul. And Evelyn Davies picks up her first, I do believe. Yeah, her first. And Coach Schroffnagel's letting his voice be heard there. 10-point game. But Avery was very good her freshman year. Decided not to play last year. And just got to get back into basketball form, right? Get a foul here on Kiera Shea. Not a ton of contact. 3 fouls on this possession for the Vikings. 8:37 to go in the first half. We did not have many whistles early on. It was a very pleasant first part of the second half. Good flow to it. Not a lot of whistles. First free throw from Edelman. Good. Tell you what, if you are an East Central team, or Eastern Wisconsin, not East Central. I'm getting my conferences mixed up here. Second foul, by the way, on Kiera Shea. Good for her to stay out of foul trouble. But if you are an Eastern Wisconsin team, you do not want to foul Emma Edelman. Not sure what she shot last year from the line. I'll see if I can get that information for you. But so far tonight, she is 6 for 7. Is that right? Yeah, 6 for 7 is Edelman. Those are her first points here of the second half. She's got 15 on the night. Having a nice night. That one, Siri Kuski was caught in the air. If that foot came down, it would have been a travel. And can the Kiel Raiders chip back into the Vikings lead? Vikings had it out at 11. Remember in the first half, Vikings led it by 10. Squandered that lead back to what ended up being a Kiel 1-point lead at one point. And here in the second half, they were up by 11, getting out in transition, playing good defense. Now the whistles start coming, and the Vikings struggle when the game starts to slow down and get a little bit muddied up. Vikings have struggled. So it's currently an 8-point lead, tipped out by Kiera Shea. And Sager just threw that one into Shea's hands. Use those ball fakes against Kiera Shea, although it's very difficult. She gets up and down, and she moves those feet so quickly. It's very difficult to get free. Here's Edelman trying to work her free, and into the passing lane goes Abby Cole. Cole down the right side of the floor, up with the right hand, and finishes. Good finish by Abby. She's got 8 second-half points, and she's up to 15, tied with Edelman for a game high. 53-43, Vikes lead it by 10. 7:50 to go in the ball game. Kicked out to Edelman, top of the key, guarded by Kuski. Edelman with the ball fake, wearing the highlighter yellow tennis shoes. I like those. Nice spin underneath. Mance has 14 points. 5'10", senior, and they have gotten her down on that left block. And when they have, the Vikings have had no answer. I think they've been scared. A couple of girls picked up early fouls, kind of scared to be too physical under there, and she has gotten whatever she wants. Down the lane goes Kuski. A lot of contact, no whistle. Mance pokes it away from Kuski on the rebound, and we're headed back the other way. 8-point lead for the Vikings. Coach Vandermeuse trying to hurry his team up, trying to get Sager to go a little bit quicker. Now she is into the paint, poked away by Shea. Ball is with Edelman. Lobs it back into Sager. Down to Mance in the corner. This is a little further than she wants to be. Here's Meyer. Meyer takes Nell off the dribble. Good contest from Nell, but not able to block it. Defensive rebound. Shea, like a blink, the other way, and she'll head back to the free throw line. 6th trip of the night for Kiera Shea. She's 8 for 10 from the line. Only has made one shot today, but still able to carve out 10 points. Most of them coming from the line here. First free throw from Shea rattles around, no good. Vikings trying to build on an 8-point lead here early. About halfway. Shouldn't say early. We're into the later stages here, the second half. It's flown by. I'll tell you what, compared to that first half, second free throw, good for Shea. She's got 11. Coach Schroffnagel, as he so often does, takes a timeout before a defensive possession, wants to make sure his girls are in a good set. 54-45, 9-point lead for the Vikings, 6:45 to go. So we are into the later stages here of the second half. We're going to step aside, come back with more, start finishing this thing up when we return. You're watching Viking girls basketball on WLA TV. Stay with us.
Students at the end of today's game, the WLA Booster Club kindly asks
You know, as welcome back. Kiel 45, Vikings 54. As high school basketball goes, Kiel was a very good free throw shooting team last season. 76.5 for Carleen Meyer. Now Meyer, there's some production you lose. Emma Edelman, 76%. Told you we'd try to get that number. 76%. She went to the line 104 times. Shot 195 threes. Shot it from two at a 40.9% clip. 41%, that's from the field. 38, almost 37.5, almost 38% from three.
Viking foul on number 22, Abby Cole.
Cole picks up a foul underneath. Ooh, that's 4 on Cole. That one snuck up on you. Wow. That was very, just a battle underneath. Let the girls play, but more whistles here in the last couple of minutes. 5 team fouls for the Vikings, 4 for the Raiders. Nice, and they get Mance free underneath once again. She's got 16. She is now the game-high leader in points. Near side Nell, as Cole has to take a seat with those 4 fouls. Here's Siri Kuski, first 3 of the night for her. She did not shoot the 3 tremendously well a season ago. Lindsay Nell has gotten her hands on a lot defensively and almost picked that one off in the backcourt. Here is Sager. 7-point lead for the Vikings. This is not, it felt very comfortable. Here goes Mance underneath, and a late whistle will send her to the free throw line. The Vikings had 1 team foul at the 10-minute mark, and in 4 minutes have picked up 5 fouls. Coach Schaffnagel happy with the explanation he got for that one. McKenna Conkey picking up her first foul of the contest. That misses, and another play, nice play by Long. Shovels it back into Edelman. Edelman lobs it to Mance, kicks it out. Meyer, this would be a big 3. It goes. Hallie Meyer cuts the lead for the Vikings to 4 with 5 minutes and 45 seconds left in the game. Kiel right back into it. Here's Anna Trewin. The sophomore gets hacked. Sager fouled Trewin hard there. Should be the 6th team foul, I believe. And that's the just the 5th team foul, pardon me. Here is Nell. That was the 4th foul on Sager, by the way. And they tried to get Spencer into the game, but refs did not beckon her on, so a little bit of a risk here. Down the lane goes Nell, and this thing's evened up in terms of fouls. I'll tell you what, I did enjoy this game when there was a few less whistles. It's going both ways. I mean, both teams have 16 fouls, but the flow of the game was, we were trucking right along, and we've kind of grinded to a halt. And so far tonight, when that has been the case, here's Nell underneath. Nice inbounds play, and Lindsay Nell makes it good for the Vikings. She's got 8 second-half points as well. She's got 17. But when this is kind of ground to a halt, when things have been disjointed and the Vikings haven't been able to get out in transition, that has very much favored Kiel. Here is another 3 for Meyer. This one looks short. It is short. Rebound down to Kiera Shea. Shea, like a lightning bolt, up ahead. Looked like she stepped on someone's foot. Hope she's okay. Here's a jumper from Anna Trewin. Oh, rattles home. You bet. Anna Trewin. That is a big shot from the sophomore, and the Vikings lead it by 8. Kiera Shea looks like she's fine. Crossing over is Edelman. Crossing once again between the legs. Throws one up a little bit wildly, and the rebound on the far side. Good box from Lindsay Nell. Nell on the far side. Right-handed dribble. Kicks it near side. Here is Trewin in the corner. Just hit a big shot. Oh, good entry pass from Anna Trewin, and Siri Kuski is fouled. I think that was Edelman, and Kuski heads to the line for the 2nd time tonight. She's 0 for 2. That was a really nice pass from Anna Trewin. Got the ball here on the left wing, and the Vikings have not made that pass. It's a difficult pass, but one that you got to have a little confidence and be confident in yourself and your teammate to make the play on both ends. Kuski 0 for 3 now from the line. She is stuck on 10 points, been there since about the first couple possessions of the second half. She got her first bucket of the second frame, and now she's off of that. She's 1 for 4 from the line. And a timeout here from Kiel. I think Coach Schaffnagel will take that. He likes talking to his girls before a defensive possession, and it's a pretty big one here. Vikings lead it by 9, trying to gain control here down the stretch. 4 minutes and 33 seconds left to play. Abby Cole has 15. Lindsay Nell has 17 by my count. All of these unofficial till I can count them up at the end of the ball game. Siri Kuski has 11 for the Vikings, 2 for Conkey, 3 for Anna Trewin, and Kiera Shea has 11. Tabby Sager has 9 points for the Raiders, 6 of them coming here in the second half. The Vikings have done a nice job on Edelman. She's only got 2 points, both from the free throw line during the second half here. She had 13 at halftime. 6 points for Hallie Meyer. She's hit a couple of threes. The threes have cooled off for Kiel. If you're a Viking fan, you're saying knock on wood there. But they hit 5 first-half threes, just 1 here in the second half. And Brooklyn Mance has 16 points. Second only to Lindsay Nell here tonight. And the Vikings coming out here in a full-court press. Vikes back to their starters, minus Conkey plus Treewin. Had a lot of success late in the first half with this lineup, but it does involve some risk here as Abby Cole's out there with 4 fouls. Edelman underneath, working on Kuski. Nice job by Siri to go straight up and down. Edelman gets fouled on the second time of asking. I believe that was Kuski. Kuski did such a nice job going straight up and down. It's so hard, though. Oh, they're going to get Nell. Should be her third. Now, if Nell picks up a fourth, now you're really starting to toe the line. First free throw for Edelman is up and good. The 76% shooter a season ago looks like it. We'll just say that. She is 7 for 8 right now from the line, which is a little bit better than 76%. And the second one is good as well. So she's now got 17 points. Just 4 of them coming here in the second half, but it cuts it to a 7-point game. Kiera Shea between the circles. Hands off to Cole. And Kiel wants to pressure the ball a little bit more. Here's Long guarding Nell. Out to Cole on the right side. Cole dribbles it off her foot and gets it back to Nell. Nell down the lane. Scoops up with the right hand. Can't get it to go. Tipped out and should go back to the Raiders. Coach Schroffnagel thought it was tipped. I think Siri Kuski probably touched it last. Coach Schroffnagel thought Kuski was fouled. 3 minutes and 47 seconds left and ticking down here in this second half. Behind the back dribble from Edelman. Shovels it off here to Meyer. Meyer working on Shea. Nice backdoor cut. Once again, Natalie Long making some impact plays. Backdoor cut, I think it was Treewin who drew that assignment. Might have been Cole. And it's back to a 5-point game, 59-54. 3 minutes and 25 seconds left. Nell spins down, middle of the paint, kicks it to Shea. Big shot here for Kiera Shea. Hit it! Kiera Shea. 62-54. It's a 8-point game once again. Oh, that can be a gut punch there. Kiel just chipping back and chipping back. Good play after good play, and then a triple like that can demoralize you. We'll see how the Raiders respond. Here's Isselman. Hands off and a travel. Yeah, Long just, it got a little bit high up on the arm of Natalie Long, and she just wasn't able to get it down onto the floor before her second foot came down. So the travel call gives it back to the Vikings, and the Raiders, I believe, going to take a timeout. Yeah. Kiel's going to take a full timeout. We're going to take it with them. 62-54, 2 minutes and 58 seconds left in the ball game. Vikings trying to salt this one away. How do they play down the stretch? That's the question for the Vikes. Lead it by 8. Back after this. Stay with us. Couple of horns as we come out of this timeout. Foul situation. Abby Cole's got 4 for the Vikings and 3 for Lindsay Nell. 4 for Tavi Sager for the Raiders. The Big 12 fan in me wants to say the Red Raiders every time I say it. Texas Tech. But these are just these are the Purple Raiders. It's a cool logo. I mean, that's even that the horseman with the hat for Kiel. It is a cool logo. A block underneath from Kiel allows them to get out in transition, and Lindsay Nell, that was a little bit unfortunate because Long just had to stop running, and Nell's momentum took her through the back of Long. And it's a foul on Lindsay Nell, no doubt about that. Just a little bit unfortunate. That's her 4th foul. So now Nell and Cole both with 4. Long goes to the free throw line, her first trip today, and rattles around and out. So bonus free throws. Is that a story upcoming? Good press break for the Vikings, or really just transition play by the Vikings. And Kiera Shea is the one at the end of it. Good pass from Cole. Beautiful pass from Kuski, and Shea finishes off at the rack. Here's Edelman off of a screen, misses it off to the left. Rebound with Cole. And Coach Schraffnagel wants a timeout, takes a 30 with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left. Vikings have a 10-point lead. 11 is their largest lead of the night. That happening earlier here in the second half. We're going to keep it here. We'll just talk over the AC/DC music that blares in the gymnasium of Winnebago Lutheran Academy. Both teams now into the bonus. When does Kiel decide the foul game needs to start for them? 2 minutes and 11 seconds left. Probably a little bit too early here, but I would expect Kiel's got to come out of this timeout here and try to work a press. That's what you would assume for the Raiders. 64-54, and as I said, 2 minutes and 11 seconds left in the game. Jersey night for the students. I see a Michael Jordan jersey. I see a UCLA Russell Westbrook jersey. I see a Tyler Hero jersey from when he was at Kentucky. Here's Kiera Shea into the front court. You don't care about that, do you? Here's Abby Cole. Back to Shea on the right side. Vikings going to be very patient here as we tick under 2 minutes to play. Shea has it top of the key. There are 3 leading scorers from a season ago. Oh, there's a bad pass from Shea, picked off by Sager. Cross-court pass, blocked by Abby Cole. The chase down block by Cole. Oh, my goodness, what a play. And Kiera Shea will head to the free throw line as Long picks up her 8th team foul for Kiel. Oh, my word. It looked like a certain bucket for Kiel. And Abby Cole said no. First free throw for Shea, up and good. So on one end, the Raiders missed the front end of their bonus free throws, and Kiera Shea earns the second here. She has had a night from the free throw line. My goodness, I'll have to count it up. I've lost track. She's more than, she is filled up the free throw tally on the score sheet, and she's gone on to the second one. So Vikings lead it by 12, their largest lead. Nice play underneath, gets Mance free, and a nice box from Lindsay Nell. And Long has to foul her trying to go for the rebound. So Lindsay Nell will head to the free throw line. 9th team foul, so 1-1. 4th personal now for Natalie Long. She joins Tavi Sager with 4 fouls. First free throw from Lindsay goes up and misses. Offensive rebound chase down from Anna Trewin, and off of her own foot dribbles Kiera Shea. So that was a miss there from Lindsay Nell. That was her first trip to the free throw line. And all 10 Vikings have gotten into the game tonight. Leah Tyson onto the floor for the Vikes. She will guard Meyer. 1 minute and 23 seconds left in this game where the Vikings have carved out a 12-point lead. Sager goes down the lane up against Shea. Shea out of bounds. Stays with the Raiders. Minute 14 left. Sager will key it in. Oh, it's tipped by Shea, stolen by Nell. Cole running the floor well, but Nell with a smart decision not to pass that cross court. Here is Shea. Shea bumped, and that'll do it here for Natalie Long. Very good spark off the bench for the Raiders, but just picked up number 5. And Kiel's going to bring in a hockey shift substitution. Everyone comes on in, so every player suited up for both teams tonight has gotten onto the floor.
In for the Vikings,
Spencer Nails,
and Avery Supernail.
Faust, and Miller, I believe, in. And the Vikings got all their subs into the ball game as well. Minus Anna Trewen. Shea's first free throw misses. She's probably, the job is done. Quit sending me to the free throw line. This is her 18th free throw tonight. I mean, when's the last time you saw that was in an NBA game? Gotta be. 18 free throws for Kiera Shea, 14 for 18 from the line. You kidding me? What a performance from the senior. So both teams got their next 5 into the ball game. Here's McKenna Conkey, who started tonight for the Vikings. Didn't get a ton of minutes here in this second half, but scored a couple of times for the Vikings. A couple of nice backdoor cuts in that first half from McKenna Conkey. Top of the key, here's Avery Supernan. Schumacher down to the corner with Leah Tyson, looking for Conkey, now back to Schumacher. Audrey's going to pop it from long 2 range, and Audrey Schumacher, the senior, gets her first 2 points of her career, and it's 69-54. Vikes have a 15-point lead. Top of the key here as Kiel running their set, driving the lane. Now this is Miller. Miller out to Faust. Faust down the lane. She's going to get a chance from the free throw line. I think Avery Supernan fouled her.
Viking foul on number 13, Leah Tyson.
And I'm wrong again. Leah Tyson with the foul.
Number 24, Courtney Faust.
And Courtney Faust. Left-handed free throw up and misses for Courtney Faust. Vikings going to move to 1-0. 3-game winning streak at least. Just going back to the 3 years that I've been doing this. All 3 years able to beat Kiel. Second time they've beat them here and also beat them at Kiel last season. That spurred the Vikings on to an 18-win season for WLA. Went 18-7. Kiel gets it in. Here's Miller. Miller has it on the wing. Good ball movement at the buzzer. Faust hits it. So Courtney Faust gets in on the scoring action. And the final score here tonight, 69-56. The Vikings able to carve out the 1-0 record, carve out the win here tonight. You know, I'll tell you what, in terms as first games go, credit to both these teams because I thought that was a pretty cleanly played game, all things considered, between these two programs. Not a ton of ugly turnovers, not a ton of miscommunication turnovers, a lot of that stuff that you see in these early season games. So credit these coaching staffs. I thought Coach Vandermeuse did a very nice job. His team did a very nice job, and then Coach Schraufnagel. You always expect them to play discipline, but it's one thing to preach it, and it's another thing for your team to go out and do it. And I think the Vikings able to do that here tonight. 69-56. Let's give you some numbers as we roll things down here. 9 points for Tavi Sager, the freshman, who really, I'll tell you what, by the end of the season, this Kiel team's going to be a different team than what played here tonight. And a lot of that has to do with the progression of Tavi Sager. I'm telling you, the way she settled in here tonight, you give her a couple more chances against the live bullets of varsity action, this freshman is going to fit right in for the Kiel Raiders. So, look, I think, like I said, when you watch this team, if you get a chance to watch this team later on in the season, or if there are Kiel people, Kiel fans out there watching this stream, I think this team is going to be a very, very dangerous, and it's going to look a little bit different when we get to the later stages of the season. I'm very impressed with the efforts of the freshman, Tavi Sager. Emma Edelman thought she would be the leading scorer tonight. She wasn't. She was. She got those last 2 free throws, so she ended up with 17 points, which was a team high for the Raiders. Hallie Meyer scored 6 on a couple of three-pointers. Courtney Faust with that buzzer beater there at the end. Natalie Long had 6 off the bench and contributed in a variety of different ways for this Raider team. And then 16 in the post for Brooklyn Mance. I was really, really impressed with her as well. Did a nice job, dominated the defensive glass, got into some good positions. On that left block, she is tough to handle for Kiel. For the Vikings, Audrey Schumacher scored her first 2 career points, as we mentioned late on in the ball game. Anna Trewin had 3, 2 points for McKenna Conkey. And then you start to move into the big 4, so to speak, for the Vikings. Siri Kuski had 11 points. Abby Cole with 8 second-half points carved out a 15-point performance. Lindsay Nell also had 8 second-half points. She had 17. And Kiera Shea, let's see here, 14 from the free throw line. 16, 18, 21 points for Kiera Shea, and she only made 3 shots from the floor. 2 twos and a 3 for Kiera Shea, and then 14 of 18 from the free throw line for the senior. So that's the scoring for the Vikings. All of that adds up to a 69-56 win for WLA, who moves to 1-0 on the season. And your next chance to catch them in action, if you want to make the drive over to Manitowoc Roncalli. That's where they play on Thursday. And then on Monday, make the trip down to Watertown to play Watertown Luther Prep for the Vikings. Those are their next 2 games. Next time you'll see them here on WLA TV, I'm not even sure. But our next broadcast coming up next Tuesday, we will have the first ball game for the boys basketball team. Coach Nell gets his season underway as they take on Berlin. And that kind of been a perennial matchup for the boys basketball team. So looking forward to that one and seeing what this year's boys team looks like for Coach Nell. Jordan King saying so long. Thank you for joining us here this evening. Hit that subscribe button, please, if you want to know every time that we go live here on WLA TV and get a little notification. Join us as we got 26 sporting events this season for the winter season. So I know we had, whatever it was, dozen volleyball and football games here in the fall. We got 26 between boys basketball, girls basketball, and wrestling. So a lot to stay in tune for. Hope you will join us for all of that as we move through the season. Girls, get it started with a win. 69-56, 1-0 on the season. Jordan King saying so long. Thanks for joining us. You've been watching WLA Girls Varsity Basketball on WLA TV. Good night.